What up, though? It's the word. You see the title. Let's talk about it. But first, do me a favor. Hit the like button. And if you're new, hit the subscribe. It's free to you, but it means a lot to me. I just want to touch on a couple subjects because some new speculation. I'm not gonna call it information that came out. About the Tyre Nichols case. And shout out to Onan TV. If y'all don't know, hey Kalani. If y'all don't know who Onan TV is, go check him out. Because he has some interesting views that uh, make more sense than what we're being told. And if you've seen from the beginning to the end of the Tyre Nicholson police stop until he began, getting beat. It didn't make sense how they pulled him over. It didn't make sense why five cops were so aggressive on one man. But the way Onan broke it down, it makes more sense. And like I said, it's speculation, so it's not confirmed. So I gotta say allegedly. And I want to talk about the protests. But first, let me give my condolences to Ricky Smiley. He lost his son Brandon, and I'm just newly a parent. My son is only 3, and I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine something happening to my son. So my condolences go out to Ricky Smiley, and no matter, I don't believe there's any details out, but no matter what happened to him, life is precious, and I believe he was only 32. So that's why I tell people, we don't get a restart. We don't get a continue when it comes to life. We only get one shot at it. So we all should understand how precious it is, and that should make us respect the lives of other people too. But back to the Tyree. So Onan TV, he was the first person I seen to bring the speculation or the information stating that one of the cops had an ex-girlfriend who worked with Tyree, and Tyree ended up, start dating her, and the cop was mad. So that's his get back, and it makes more sense because it looked at personal. Everything that occurred, it didn't look like just they just pulled some random person over who was Kalani. I don't know if you have a wrench, but if you don't, hold on, let me give you one so you can put your link in the chat. But yeah, I don't. I mean, from the video, and I watched it, and unfortunately, oh, you get it, Kalani. Yeah, put your link in the chat, Kalani. But watching it looked at personal. Watching that video from the beginning to the end, just the way they pulled him over, and then the excuse was, or the reason they pulled him over was because he was driving recklessly. And the police chief said there's no information showing that, no video showing that they even had a reason why they pulled him over. And then you see how aggressive they were to him when they first approached the car. Snatching them out, didn't ask for license or registration, none of the normal protocol. And usually the only time they do something like that is if they know they have a wanted suspect. But even then, they don't approach the car that aggressively. Like they approached the car like they knew he wasn't a threat too. You got to think about that. The way they approached that car, they didn't see him as a threat because they went straight for the door, pulled him out, and pepper sprayed him. That didn't look like he was a threat. They wasn't afraid he might have a weapon because they wouldn't approach the car like that. You know, and then after they caught up to him, you got 5 men, 5 grown men, 5 trained men beating them. And if it wasn't for that camera on the pole, they would have got away with it, I believe. Because if you listen to the audio, they giving him orders that he couldn't even possibly do because they told him to let me see your hands. Well, they got his hands. They telling him let me get on the ground. He on the ground. All the orders they giving him is already he was already complying, and they was steady hitting him, and they was rocking back and forth. It wasn't one cop steady. You couldn't see those cameras steady, so you couldn't tell if he was resisting or not. And that's the trick, right? We see that a lot. If you watch police tapes, the body cam footage, it's not someone standing there clear. They're moving back and forth while they're giving people orders. They literally giving people orders, right? And the people is literally saying, I am complying, I am doing this. And they keep shouting these orders. And they just, my bad, my mic turned off for 1 minute. But yeah, they steady giving them orders and the people complying, telling them they complying. But the cops keep yelling these orders like they're not complying. That's one of the tricks they use. But this time, there was a camera on the pole that caught everything. Caught everything. And then also, it didn't make sense why they didn't render first aid, right? Why they didn't even try to help. Didn't make sense. And then even one of the cops are shown on the body cam footage taking a picture of him. Why would you take a picture of a subject that you just beat down? That's arrested. Why would you take a picture on your cell phone? That didn't make sense. But now with the new speculation, it makes sense. How many times have we heard just the herd mentality, right? You get a group of people, you got an alpha in that group. Everybody follow the lead, no matter how fucked up it is or messed up it is. Everybody following the lead. But them other 4 people just threw their life away because one dude, if it's true, because the information is allegedly nothing has been confirmed. But if it is true, guess what? Y'all just threw y'all life away because some dude lost his chick to another dude. And that's what I'm saying. Life is precious. And you got to love your life. You got to love yourself so much that you don't put yourself in messed up situation. You got to love yourself enough to understand how to control your emotions because stuff like this happened. A dude lost his girl to a dude who worked with her at FedEx. You get so and you abuse your authority and you take 4 people down with you. I was told by one of the OGs that it can take a lifetime to build something and take 2 seconds for it to be destroyed. And that's what life is. You can do all the right things for 30, 40, 50 years. And it only take 2 seconds for you to throw all that good work away. 2 seconds. And I believe a lot of that is because, especially as men, as black men, we weren't taught about emotions. We were told to be emotionless. And for a while that worked. To be honest with you, for a while it worked, right? Because you ain't see all this. You ain't see no black man losing their emotions like this. Not in the 50s, the 60s, 70s, going into the 80s, yeah. Because, after the crack era, there wasn't no strong black man in the home. And if you think about it, we were taught how to control our emotions because we couldn't act out. Because we had that strong man there to keep us in check. And maybe that was just a raw way of teaching how to control your emotions. You get out of line, you get popped. Maybe that was, but it was done. And now you got these young dudes. You say something about them, they're ready to take your head off. They're ready to jump out the window. These were 5 trained police officers, people who took oaths. What up, Papa? You had to search everywhere. Yeah, but these was five trained police officers who took an oath and couldn't control their emotions. And that's just a reflection on us as a people. We can't control our emotions as a whole. I'm not saying as individuals, because I know I can. And like I said, it's speculation right now, but if if he did this because of a woman, and all these people, even the EMTs, all of them, they need to, I think they all need to be charged. The man died. Even as an EMT, your job is to help. You pull up to the scene, you see this man is in distress, and you talking and laughing with the cops. I mean, hey, Queen. But yeah, so even the EMTs, you took a vow. Your job description is to help those in need of help. I worked in a hospital for 15 years, and I can't even count how many times someone came in there who hurt a kid, and we had to work on. We had people who this one guy, our word, a woman, and after he was done, she stabbed him with a piece of broken glass. We had to save this man's life. When she stabbed him, the glass went into his side and punctured his lung. And if he would have pulled the glass out, he would have died. But he made it to the hospital. And we working on this dude. And he beat the crap out of this lady. We worked on the lady too. The next day we had to do surgery on the lady. He ripped her all up in the private area. We had to stitch her from the back to the front. Messed her up. But we had to save his life. And it's hard. You see somebody like that, you like they deserve to die. But our job is to save lives. That's our job. That's when honor comes in. People don't get honor these days. You can't honor your duty, even though your morals might go against it. Your values might go against it. But if you take or accept a position, and while you're doing that job, your honor should kick in. And sometimes the honor will supersede the morals and values. Because like I said, morally, I didn't want to help that guy. Especially the next day after seeing what he did to that woman. We did 2 more surgeries on him. We had to see him 2 more times. Yeah. Yeah, we do talk too much about the bad people. Honestly, that's like the show I did last night. I wanted to tell some feel good stories. I wanted to tell some feel good stories. But it is some good people in this world. Unfortunately, they overshadowed by people like this. Baby girl cluster feed. Unfortunately, they are overshadowed. And, I'm going to start doing that once a week. I'm going to start finding some extraordinary people to talk about. I'm going to start doing that once a week um, because we do need to talk more about that. I would like people to just share stories, not even nothing extraordinary, just something personal. It don't even have to be too personal. It could be something that you experienced in life or something that you witnessed or something that you was told. We need to do more of that too. Because unfortunately, unless we do something or change it, um, stories like this will always overshadow those good stories, those heartwarming stories. It's always go overshadow it. You know what? I don't know where Craig and Perp at. Because I know Nate didn't go on earlier, so I ain't seen nobody really all day. But yeah, these. I was talking to my pops, and like I said, I got a lot of family in law enforcement. I got a lot of family, retired and still active. Um, so I know for a fact that all cops ain't like this. I got a family member who he took some heat and lost the job because he did the right thing. And that is a culture. That's the problem. That's one of the biggest problems. It's a culture. Just like street games, it's a culture. People. What we forget um, that these are regular people. These ain't no genetically enhanced people who came out of the lab and programmed to do this specific. That's not what these are regular people. And anybody we see through history, anybody can be corrupted. We have virtuous people, but unfortunately, um, it'd be kind of hard to actually find a whole police force in any town that's virtuous. In any group, even in the hospital. You know how many shady doctors I knew? I knew doctors who did cocaine before surgery. I knew doctors who didn't give their best effort because they didn't like the race of a patient and literally admitted it and didn't give a fuck. I mean, these are doctors. What we forget is no matter what position these people in, guess they regular ass people. They just as fucked up as the rest of us. They really are. They just as messed up as the rest of us. They not special. We like to think they are, but they not. They regular people. And how many times have we seen people in general abuse the authority that they have on any level? If it's a school principal, a teacher, a doctor, a lawyer. How many times have we seen the president abuse power? I mean, look at the Bill Clinton thing, right? How many times we seen the president abuse power? JFK. How many times? And that's the president of the United States. So we expect these people? Nah, they regular people. They just as messed up as we are. And that's no excuse for what they do because like I said, you took a job. You can be a regular person after you clock out. But while you clocked in, you have a duty. The problem is they're not held accountable. They're not held accountable. Qualified immunity is almost like a license to kill. It's almost like it, but people are starting to get punished now. But before then, why do you think all these cops got off or got slapped on the wrist or just transferred to a whole nother department? Because that qualified immunity. You treat them like regular people and see what happens. You know, that badge is not even a gun because everybody got guns. It's that badge. That badge is like a shield. Ain't that what they call it? You gotta think of the wordplay. They telling you everything what it is. That badge is a shield and it protects them from from ordinary shit that affect me and you. I know cops who what up, Tay? Like me personally, you know, I grew up in the hood and I did my thing. And I knew some real cool cops that looked out for me. You know what I'm saying? And they looked out for me because they seen potential in me. They didn't want me to get in trouble. So sometimes they used to pull me up, like, get out of here or go this way or go that way. Or don't do this on that day. Don't go over here. You know, they seen potential in me. And two of them I'm still cool with. And I tell them all the time, I appreciate you. Because if you didn't, I would have got caught up in some stuff and I wouldn't have the ability to do what I do now. So I appreciate them. But if they was doing that for me, I know they was doing that for other people. You know, they regular people too. It's some good cops too. But like I said, these are regular people. They do the same things that we do. They can be corrupted just like any other person. And in my opinion, that's why I feel like even in the hospital, you know, when we went through traumatic things, we had to go talk to a counselor. And this was probably, you know, I worked in the OR, so you see in Detroit, and I worked at a level 1 trauma center in urban areas, so it was always something coming in. I done seen some messed up stuff. I seen this one dude, he got shot 16 times. And when they brought him in, we thought it was gauze. You know, he got shot all up in the leg. We thought it was gauze. And as we start pulling it, we understood it was his testicles. This man got hit up and his balls literally bursted. And we pulling his insides out. You know, you see car accidents and babies coming there and you doing everything you can, but you can't save them. And then you just got to go to the next patient. But then when you get home, that it messes with you. So, you know, it was like every 8, 10 months, we had to talk. You know, we had somebody come in and we talk. And I don't believe cops do that. I don't believe cops do that. And they need to because they go through some shit too. Not just on the job, but personally. Like I said, these people, how many times we heard of cops having problems at home? It was just a cop in New York, a lesbian cop who killed her ex because her ex left her for somebody else. And then she killed herself. And this was a cop. You know, so what that man what Trey went through, you know, I seen that so many times. Not from no cops, but just growing up in the hood. And that's what it reminded me of. That's exactly what it reminded me of. And that's messed up because like I said, these people supposed to be here to protect and serve us. That's why they post that. That's why they're here. That's what they're getting paid for. That's what our taxes paying them for. And where I live at now, I live in the suburbs, and I live in a diverse neighborhood. You know, I got cops live up and down the street from me, so they know me. They see me walking my son. They say what up. I say what up. You know, I see them as people. I don't see them in their uniform, but when I do see them in their uniforms, they act the same way. So it's different. I got a different experience from what I had growing up because it wasn't like that growing up. Even the cop that lived down the street from me, he'd mean mug me every time I walked down the street. Every time I walked down the street, and that cop was black. And these cops out here by me now, they white. So what I'm saying is this: we got to start loving ourselves because when we don't love ourselves, what happens is it's hard for us to look at somebody that look like us and love them. And you can't convince me that these five black men love themselves because ain't no way in hell they would have beat that black man like that. Ain't no way. There's no way. No way. You can't convince me of that. Not the way they beat him. And then they high fiving. And then that's another thing too. And see, when black people speak about their experience, there's a lot. Like if you're not black, it's hard to understand. It's really hard because being black, you don't only got everybody else against you. You got people that look just like you against you too, and it's hard to tell who they are. But it's some black people who don't like black people, and this is evident right here. I personally know black people who speak down on black people, speak highly of other races. And when I was younger, I never understood it. You know, they try to find something else to latch on. You know, they try, and that's the crazy thing, right? Like they try to latch on to something else. And that's what I believe these cops did. They were more proud to be cops than black. They didn't look at that man as a brother. They looked at him as a op. That's how they looked at that black man. They didn't look at him as a brother. They looked at him as a op because they was more proud to be cops than black. And then I want to speak on the protest too, because like when I see people protest now, and they talk about our ancestors and some of our elders are still here with us doing it, and the effective change they had, they always miss the main ingredient, and that's the boycotting. None of them protests would have been successful back in the civil rights movement if there wasn't no boycotting. None of them. But we can't even come together. We can't come together to stop the conflict within our group. So how we gonna come together and say, okay, we ain't spending our money here, here, and here because y'all support this BS? How can we do that? Too many people won't even stop watching football. Watching, not spending your money, not using. Think about it. Our ancestors sacrificed the bus system. meaning wherever they had to go, now they got to walk. But they was willing to do that because it was something bigger than we. I mean, we got this mentality of self preservation, and I understand it. I truly do. I understand it because waiting for somebody, waiting for a whole group of people to stand up for something that's right, and you sitting there fighting that fight by yourself, or very few of y'all, and it's not effective. That it get tiring. You get tired of that after a while, and then you just start worrying about yourself. I stayed in my hood. I tried to bring it back up. I tried, and I couldn't even get help far as people not breaking into my shit while I'm trying to fix it up. I'm trying to fix homes up to give people land contracts so they have an opportunity to own the home, not just rent it. And I can't even keep materials in the house. Neighbors ain't even looking out for me. So why I'm gonna keep going through this and my own people doing it? I'm trying to do something to help. I'm trying to build the neighborhood back up. And I'm asking other people to help me. Hey, let's do this. Come on, come on, come on, come on. You got the money to do this. Put in on this. Let's do this. No, ain't nobody trying to do it. Okay, I do it myself then. I lost. Well, how much am I supposed to lose before I say, you know what? I gotta look out for myself. Because ain't nobody else doing it. Everybody know what I'm trying to do. And you can't even tell me, you know who broke into my house and took the material. You know who did this. And you can't yell, scream, nothing. You can't even tell me who did it. And I understand you don't want to get into the mix. But then when I stop, then I'm a sellout. Like, how am I a sellout? I'm just supposed to keep losing? You're right, Tay. And see, that's what I'm saying. I had to learn the hard way. But you hear so many people say that build up your neighborhood, build up your neighborhood. It has to be a group effort. It can't just be one, two, three people building up trying to do something. It got to be the whole neighborhood. Think about this. The more I researched and read about the Black Panther Party, I just want you to think about this. The Black Panther Party, right? They started after school programs, the free lunch program, the WIC program that everybody utilizes now. The Black Panther Party started that. They policed the neighborhood. They took care of the neighborhood. How the hell did anybody run up in a building that the neighborhood was supposed to protect them? I don't care who came for them. I don't care if they sent the military in for them. The neighborhood was supposed to protect them too. And that's just flat. No one should have been able to come in there and do anything. And I'm watching old footage and people just standing out, watching them raid them and beat them and shoot. Like, what is y'all doing? Even if, like, man, I don't like when you talking about who protect the people who protecting you. Who protects the protector? If you got a group of people willing to sacrifice their life to make the community better, who protects those people? The community is supposed to protect those people. Because without those people, guess what's going to happen to the community? What we see now. What we see now is what happens when the community don't protect the people who protecting them. When the community don't support the people who support them. If someone is willing to come into the community and build, that person should be not only protected but supported. We don't do that. We don't do that. You let just go to another group's community and try to do something. Even if they got to come out with sticks and stones, you go catch them. You go catch them. A lot of the stuff, the way it is working just fine. It's working how it was designed to work. Us going against one another. Why do you think they took the chains off? Why you think people ain't running around with hoods on their head no more, burning crosses? They ain't got to. And take it how it is. They just trained the lesser of us to do what they do. And that's what I just believe that. They indoctrinated the lesser of us, the weak ones. And they do it. But at some point, and like I said, I'm comfortable, as far as, and I'm not gonna do nothing, but I'm gonna keep moving forward. I'm gonna keep moving forward with my life. I'm gonna do what I gotta do for me and my family. I'm gonna always do that. But like I said, I got kids and they gotta grow up in this world. And I know if I blaze the path, I could do it for my kids. I could teach my kids everything, but they gotta go into this world too. And my grandmother always told me to leave things better than you found it. She always told me that. Anywhere I go, leave it better, in a better condition than you found it in. And that's including this world. When I go, all the information in my head go with me. The way I think goes with me. All that, everything is gone. Everybody, all y'all. So why not share that? Why not share that? Because if we begin to share information with one another, missing pieces will be put together. Different ways to try things. And hopefully, what's that movie, Field of Dreams? If you build it, they will come. My mama told me that, even about this YouTube. My mom, I don't know if she ever watched that movie, but she always tell me that. When I want to do something, my mom always tell me, well, if you build it, they will come. Meaning whatever I do, just as long as I do it with the pure intention of doing good, it will draw people. That's what she told me she meant by that. People will be drawn to it. Just do it with pure good intention. Do it, and when you do it, make sure you're doing it to help not only yourself but other people. My mama always told me anything I ever do it with pure intentions, or don't do it at all. And then I listen to Brother Nate. Nate got so much. I don't know. Maybe I just been through a lot of shit in life, and I look at it, and it's not the fact that I don't have hope for humanity. I just see history constantly repeating itself. I just see it. I continuously see it. It just repeats itself, repeats itself, repeats itself. But me personally, I broke the cycle. I broke a couple cycles within my family, within my race. I broke a couple cycles. So I understand that the cycle of history can be broken and something better can come out of it. I understand that. And even, um, coming on here having conversations, I see, I didn't think it was a lot of people who thought like me, but coming on here, you see a lot of intellectual people who can observe things and see things for what it is. Everybody ain't for the drama or the bullshit. People actually seeking positive change, seeking solutions, have solutions, have different inputs. Yes, Tay, breaking generational curses. Yeah, and so I know if I do it, it can be done. And like I see people doing it. And like Kalani said earlier, we don't talk enough about the positive things. Because it get overshadowed by things like this, and that's even a play. That's even a play. There's a reason why they do that. There's a reason why they do that. There's a reason why they draw on your lower emotions. That's energy. That's conditioning. It's doing two things too. It's conditioning one group of people and desensitizing another group of people. You know, I promise you, um, I promise you that at least out of a billion people, I promise you at least probably 500. I promise you at least if when people are saying this story, I promise you at least a million white people had this thought. They savages even in uniform. Even in uniform, they savages. I promise you it did. I promise you it solidified a thought in non-black people head that even if you put a uniform on them, they still violent people. They still won't stop killing their own. I've heard that on YouTube. So I know people think like that. Like I said, it's desensitizing. It's groups of people um, who never had personal experiences with black people. And then they see something like this and they form an opinion on it. They desensitize and they've been doing it for years. It's propaganda. That's why you never see any other race of people beat, killed, murdered in the street. But black people, they love beating that in people's head that black people are violent. They always show the lesser of us, right? But when it comes to the lesser of any other race, it's always an excuse. You got mental illness, they had a bad childhood, there's always something. But when it's us, it's just that we're savages. And it's been like that. And they do other races like that too. Let a Middle Eastern person do something, oh, they're a terrorist. Let a Mexican person do something. What did Trump say? Oh, they rapists and pedophiles. Like, come on, man. But even them, they don't show them beat up and shot up in the street. They only show black people on American TV. I don't know what they do out of the country. But on American TV, that's all they do. And they do that for a reason. It's desensitizing us. And they wonder why black people don't trust the cops. Why should we y'all keep showing us getting fucked up on video by cops. Why the hell am I gonna trust the cop? Why? You're showing me I can't. That's what you're showing me. You showing me not only if I don't comply, but you showing me I ain't even got to be a damn criminal now. I can be an innocent, everyday, average, tax-paying citizen, clean record, and still get murdered by the cops. That's what you're showing me. You showing me I can have a gun license. I can do everything right and have a gun license, and I can tell you I have my gun on you and I have a license. And then when you tell me to receive my license and I reach for it, you shoot and kill me. You showed me that. No matter what I do, right or wrong, that I can be killed by a cop. So why would I trust him? You're doing that on purpose, bro. Because guess what? Fact of the matter is, white people get killed by cops too. In fact, more white people kill cops. They don't show that. And that's what I tell you, our history, like on so many levels. You know, we even now, think about now. We are some of the most forgiving and understanding people when it comes to other races. You know, I don't nobody take this wrong. This is just something one of my mentors told me. And this guy's actually Indian, right? He told me, he said, you know why black people so aggressive towards one another? And I said, nah. And he said, think about this. He said, when you observe a lion in the jungle, do the lion ever get upset when the birds or the flies or any small animal or non-threatening animal touches it or approach it? I'm like, nah. He said, but if another lion try to come in the pride, what he do? He said, you guys are your own, you are your only competition. He said, in reality, he told me black people were the only true competition. That's why we don't feel any other race is threatening. And I'm like, what is you talking about? It didn't make sense what he was telling me. It didn't make sense at first. And the more I read and understood, I understood what he was saying. I understood what he was saying. That's black people are so understanding, so forgiving, so caring to all other races, so open. But when it comes to us, it's like we can't stop competing. Yeah, you know what? Good people. And you know what, Kalani, I can say this. I'll be 100% honest with you. Since I changed my life, I ain't had no problems, bro. I ain't no problems with nobody except for family, honestly. And if I would have, and I learned from that. I learned from that experience. And it was a very valuable lesson, but I learned, you know, um, you have to put yourself around the things that you want and desire in life. And that's not faking it till you make it. But you have to put yourself around it to understand what it takes to get it, you know? And once you do that, once you understand what it takes to get it, you begin to evaluate yourself and see what you got to add and what you got to subtract, you know? So it's certain environments I don't go in no more. Like I said, I grew up in the hood. I did what I did. I don't go back. There's no purpose. No purpose for me going back. Why? It got worse. It's worse than what it was before I left. So why would I go back? I don't need to brag or boast or show off. No, I gotta live life. I gotta keep moving forward. So there's no point in me going backwards. You know. But I'm not gonna be naive to the fact that things can still happen. You know, no, even in the suburbs, things happen. So my head always on the swivel. But what you saying is right, because since I changed my life and changed the way I move, changed the way I operate, I don't have problems. I don't. And that's what I be trying to kick at the people. And that's why when people say we need to come together, no, we don't. We don't need to come together. What we need is like-minded people. Everybody can't come. And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm gonna say it just like this, and this ain't me on no high horse or nothing, but everybody ain't even worthy. Why would we want people, if we trying to build something, why would we want people who have the potential to destroy what we built? Why would we want people who ain't willing to make the same sacrifices we make? Why do we want those people? We don't. Not if we truly trying to be successful in what we trying to do. We can't have those people. Those people ain't allowed. Why sacrifice and work hard for something just to allow someone to come in and fuck it up? Like I said, history repeats itself. If we keep waiting for people and just letting anybody, we'll have, I ain't gonna get on no conspiracy theories, but same thing that happened to brother Khalid Muhammad. Same thing that happened to Malcolm X. Same thing that happened to the Black Panther Party. That's what's gonna happen. Same thing that happened in Rosewood. Yeah, that I would research Rosewood. Definitely research Rosewood, because it ain't what happened ain't what we was told to happen. Some of our own people that sold them people out, man. So no, we don't want none of that. We don't want none of that. But yeah, even with the protests, people ain't willing to. People ain't willing to sacrifice. That's why I don't believe in protesting. I mean, I'd rather boycott. Honestly, I'd rather just pull my money out. I mean, because going down there screaming and yelling and begging, I'm straight. That ain't me. I ain't knocking nobody who do it. I'm just saying that's not me personally. I ain't asking you for nothing. I understand the power I hold, and I understand how to wield it. But me not watching football or spending money into these companies, just single little old me, it won't really make an impact. But it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm upholding my morals and values. So I don't. I done been like right now. I got a Nike hoodie on. I haven't bought Nike in 3-4 years, and it was for some stuff way before this Kyrie others Irving stuff. I don't wear Timberlands no more. Levi's. There's a lot of stuff. I'm straight. I don't spend my money on that stuff no more. The only reason I start watching football again is my little cousin play. Don't watch basketball. Don't watch baseball no more. So I've been boycotting. But like I said, just me doing it, and it ain't gonna be no impact. But like I said, we can't even come together as a people to stop the violence amongst ourselves. So how we gonna come together and boycott something and actually make an impact? Because it just can't be. 1,000 of us. It can't just be 2,000 of us. It has to be the masses. The same people out there protesting. We're gonna need them same people, and even that's only what, a couple thousand. I mean, if you count all over, it's probably a couple 100,000. I don't know if it's a million. Even if it's a million, that still ain't enough. That still ain't enough. But again, that's why I said we gotta have some type of pride in ourselves. I know they try to get you to run away from that word, and it's for a reason. It's for a reason they made pride a seven deadly sin. There's a reason why they did that. They took it away from you. They didn't want you to have it. Because if you had it, then you'll look at things a little differently. If you knew how to use it, if you actually knew the definition of it, the true Latin origin of it, you'll know how to use it properly. That's the thing. We don't know how to use these things. But if you got pride in yourself, pride in your race, you'll stand up for it. You'll fight for it. You'll honor it. All these other races got pride, but a lot of us, a lot of us lead, a lot of us have ran away from it. Ran away from it. If you had pride in who you are, a lot of us will go figure out or find or seek who we are, but we don't do it. A lot of people just say, "No, I'm black." A lot of people say that black is a color, brother. The European and American calls themselves Americans. They don't call themselves European Americans. So why we call ourselves Black Americans if we was born on the soil? Even if you don't know the history, why would you call yourself a Black American if you was born on the soil when everybody else called themselves American? Why are you labeled African American? It don't matter. You just roll with it. Exactly, Tay. It was pride that changed angels into devils. It's humility to make man as angel. St. Augustine. Yeah, but you know what? Humility. Like I said, we just don't know how to use pride. I feel what you say 100%, Pop. But what I'm telling you, I don't believe it was pride that turned angels into devils, because even when you look at the Hebrew word of pride, it don't mean what it means now. Pride in the Hebrew term means vanity. Pride and vanity is two different words. So what turned the angels into devils was the vanity. They thought they was better than the Lord. Pride would have been that they understood they were made from the Creator. They were a creation from the Creator. Vanity will make you think you are just as better. I'm proud to be my mother's child. So when I go out the door, guess what I do? I reflect everything that my mother represents. Now, vanity, if I had vanity when I walk out the door, I think I'm better than my creator. That's why I said what you said, Tay? Running around like some gangsters. Yeah, and that's because you know why, Tay? That's another one of those that's another one of those I don't even know what I want to call it. Um That's another one of the things that, for some reason, we aspired to live up to. That was an Italian thing. They ain't had nothing to do with that old gangster stuff. That didn't have nothing to do with us. We just, I mean, even back in those days, we clicked up to protect our communities from them. We ran numbers. We had after, but we was protecting the gangsters. They wasn't. They was just protecting the community, and they wasn't calling themselves gangsters, even though they dress. And then think about how they dress. Everything switched. They was in suit and ties. They wasn't running around with their pants sagging down, dirty drawers showing. So like, I can't even call these. I don't even call them gangsters. Like what we see today ain't gangsters. We talking about people in 3-piece suits, patent leather shoes with fedoras on. Them gangsters. These guys now, they jesters. They running around like the court jesters, ass showing and everything. So I don't even. But I feel what you're saying. But these cats ain't no gangsters. Like I came up under some real ones, under some real ones. Like I can't even say that name, but I seen some Italian ones. There's a big car wash in the city of Detroit, and they got a couple locations. But the guy who owned it exposed me to an Italian family. I said like that. So I personally got to see how things moved and um, operating. And I tell you this, I ain't fucking with it. I'm straight. I ain't messing with them dudes. I'm good. And see, Pop, that's what I'm saying. You, I go to the Latin origin of words because there's a lot of, even like the word pagan. The Latin origin of pagan is from a foreign land. Me personally, I found that using the Latin root shows me the conception of the word. I say it like that because um, even these definitions that we given now, that's just like they told us Christopher Columbus found America. They don't mess with the definitions of words. You look up gay, what they tell you, same-sex marriage. They also have another definition and just say happy. So over the years, with these words, they played with them and manipulated them for the purpose of, I guess, argument. But pride, and that's one reason. They say pride is a seven deadly sin, but when you go in the military, what they tell you? When you anytime you compete, what they tell you. So even I say it like this: a knife can be used as a weapon or a tool. You can use it to cut your meat or cut a person. It's not the instrument; it's how the person is using it. So that's why I don't denounce pride. Like I don't denounce ignorance. Like if it wasn't, I I purposely become ignorant when it comes to certain things. If I didn't, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. I am ignorant to failure. I refuse to fail. When I'm doing something, I don't even think I can fail. I become ignorant to it. When it comes to me, like when I wake up in the morning, um, I got a shun in my head, and like when I lay down, uh, the fluid in my brain build up if I'm not laying in a certain position. So when I wake up, it take a minute for the shunt to drain the fluid or whatever. So I be messed up in the morning. But now I got a little baby girl. My wife would go to the bathroom and put her in the bassinet and she cries. Sometimes I will crawl to the bassinet and grab her out of there and just a holder and rocker. I can't stand up and do it because I possibly fall. But I know I got to get to my daughter. So I'm ignorant to the fact that I can't make it to her right away. And I find a way. See, me understanding that I can't fail, when things don't work one way, I find another way to make it work. Because I don't think it can't be done. I just got to figure out how it can be done. So when it comes to failure, I'm very ignorant. But see, that can be a good thing or a bad thing. It's how you utilize it. Everything has duality to it. Everything has a good thing and a bad aspect to it. A good aspect and a bad aspect. It's just how you choose to focus or utilize it. And that's one of them. What up, Nate? And that's one of them. That's one of them things. In life, I had to learn. Universal principles. And maybe I'll go through them one day because um, those things help me understand life and help me accept things and help me understand things because everything in nature functions off at least 11 universal principles that can be observed, except for law of attraction. I don't think that one can be observed. That's something that has to be felt, but rhythm, harmony, duality. Most of the universal principles can be observed in nature. So that's why I rocks with them. But yeah, without boycotting though, let me get back on subject. But without boycotting, I don't think protest is effective at all. I think it's just I ain't gonna say it ain't effective at all because uh this last protest got laws changed. I say it'd be more effective, you know. And I think you'll get results a lot quicker too. And it's not hard. What they'll do is look at what companies back um, what you're trying to combat, whatever you're going against. Look what companies back them, and those the companies you boycott. You always hit who sponsors. Oh, don't nobody sponsor the police? Yes, they do. It's companies to get that blue line, Walmart. Can you imagine you take the black dollar out of Walmart? They'd be pushing for police reform. You see what candidates back them? Even these sports, like I said, you imagine if no black person tuned in to the Super Bowl, and not even just black people, anybody who is tired of seeing this shit on TV, any race who think it's unfair and unjust. It can't just be black people. I mean, it can. I think this is just my thought. I'm just being honest. I think if black people actually stood up for themselves, I think other races would stand with us. Shit, we influence the world. I mean, when look at the what happened with George Floyd. It was people over in the UK. A lot of times at these rallies, not even a protest. I'm talking about the rallies for George Floyd. They had rallies. They had protests too. But these rallies, and the reason I call it a rally because my sister-in-law went to one, and she's in a woman group, and they went up to Lansing and they didn't call it a protest. They call it a rally. They went up to Lansing and prayed. And I thought that was dope. You know, they went up there and prayed. They wasn't protesting. They wasn't screaming, yelling. They just went up there and prayed for George Floyd. But they went up there to show him, like, look, we deep. And we gonna come up here and pray. But so even those, you know, I think that's dope. But yeah, I mean, not just black people. Because I'm just being honest. I'm just being real. Look at history. You know, different groups got oppressed in different times. Look at the Tanzanians. They got wiped out in Australia. They wiped a whole race of people out. Then they went to another. Then they went to another. So everybody eventually will have a turn. We just got to realize it's good versus evil. It's in the Bible. It's in the Quran. It's in the Tanakh. It's in spiritual systems. Good versus evil. You know, we all got different experiences. But the one thing that affects everybody is good versus evil. Because in every race, every religion, it's good versus evil. It's good people there, it's bad people there. So at the end of the day, until we understand it's good versus evil, and stop being distracted by all this other stuff. That's all this is a big distraction. I didn't know if anybody wanted to come up. I'm gonna drop the link. Thought I had it in there. I don't know how to pin the link. Pop, you gonna have to show me how to pin links, bro. I'm gonna learn how to do it one day. But yeah, at some point we go. At some point we gotta realize that we only get one shot at this, right? We get one shot at life. You know, some of us are blessed. Some of us are blessed and will be blessed to see, you know, an older age. You know, but a lot of us ain't. You know, Ricky Smiley's son gone at 32. Tyre gone at 29. Tomorrow ain't promised today, but with that being understood, why not make the best out of today? You know, every day we get an opportunity to do something better than we did the day before. You know, I was told that my past is what it is because of the way I utilize the time. So understanding that, I can create my own future by intentionally using the time to sculpt out what I wanted to become. You know, everything that happened to you in your past, everything you've been through in your past, either you or someone put you in a position. So understanding that, put yourself in a winning position to build towards the future. You know, put yourself in that winning position. And you can start by putting yourself around the things and around the people. Use your intentions to intentionally put yourself around positive things, things you desire. We have to, I'm careful of how I utilize my time. You know, I got 2 kids and a wife. That's why a lot of times I come on here at night. When they sleep, I'm gonna take advantage when my family woke. I'm gonna utilize that time to spend with them. That's what I utilize my time. When they go to sleep, then I get some time to myself. But while they woke, my wife off work, I'm gonna spend I'm gonna spend time with them. I'm gonna kick it with them. I'm gonna chill with them. I'm enjoying. Throughout the day, I listen to different content creators. I try to be in the chat as much, but if I'm building, my wife bought my son this wooden train track. So we be making different types of train tracks around the house. It's just something crazy like 100 pieces. So right now we got two different train tracks around the house. Going under the couch and stuff like that. Now we do stuff like that. My son is very like mechanically inclined. Like I was, what up though, Liz? My son is mechanically inclined, so he like building stuff, putting stuff together. So I play with him. My daughter, she ain't doing nothing yet, but throwing up and spitting up everywhere, pooping everywhere. But I spend time with her, I sing to her, dance with her. My wife, she don't want to bother with me right now. She just want her feet rubbed, so I'll go rub her feet. But I utilize that time purposely. Even the people chats I go into, the good vibe people. I go in and listen to them. If you want positive things in life, you can't keep putting yourself in negative conditions, negative environments. You can't do it. I had to learn that. And I don't hear. I had to learn that in real life. When you come up in a neighborhood and when you first make it out, you want to go back. And I'm being honest, I don't know if I went back to show off or I literally went back to try to pull people out. Because when I went back, I tried to bring people into what I was doing. I was into real estate. Look, let me show you how to do this. You don't even need a license. I done figured it out. I'm trying to show them how to use investors' money to flip houses. I'm trying to show them. Like, this is a hustle. This ain't nothing but a hustle. You ain't got to be on the block no more. But I always went back in my suits with my briefcase. I went back always flashy. So I don't know. Subconsciously, I could have been showing off. I'm not going to lie to you. But after a while, I stopped going back because nobody wanted to come. So I had to keep moving forward. Because if I would have kept going back, one time I had an altercation. Somebody I used to be cool with felt like, I thought I was better and he wanted to try me. I still had that thing though. And it was like, I got a lot to lose, so I'm not about to play with you. So we go walk away or we go make it do what it do. So we walked away. And I realized like me coming back here is putting me in this condition. And like Kalani said earlier, matter of fact, let me highlight that. Because that was because honestly, I'm just being 100% honest. And I'm back. My bad. I don't know what just happened, but yeah. But like Kalani said, um, when I changed my habits, where I went, the people I was around, my environment, when I changed all that, I haven't had issues except for the, like I said, the incident where I lost my eyesight, and that was around family. And to be honest, I didn't expect that to happen, but um, it is what it is. But I haven't had any issues because I don't put myself in situations and environments and around people where I may have issues. You know, like I said, when you come from an area, it take you a while to cut those ties, to sever those ties. It took me a while. I'm not gonna say everybody. It took me a while to cut those ties. Because you got love for it. It was a party. That was a part of me. The hood was a part of me. It was hard to, and even, well, not now, to be honest with you, not now, not especially now that I got my family. I don't even care. But um, when I first left the hood, it was like people saying, "Oh, you soft, you don't come back to the hood." That did something to me. It made me want to go back, but I was putting myself in jeopardy. I was moving backwards. If I went back to try to help a couple times, and like I said, it didn't work out for me. You know, um, but yeah, when you finally, I guess it's like when you talk to a recovering addict, because they tell you it's two type of addicts: recovering addict or active addict. And even the recovering addict will tell you that people won't make that step to get clean until they're ready. And, the more people you talk to, it's different reasons and different situations that made, that pushed them to that point where they had the desire. And it's the same thing when you changing your way of life. I say it like that. When you come from one background and then you understand that, okay, this ain't the best way to live, and you want to change, you don't change until you have to. And unfortunately, some people get caught up in things and they don't get the opportunity to change. My little brother right now, he doing fed time, and just talking to him, I hear a difference than any of the other times, he got locked up. It's something different about it this time. And maybe that's just my hope, because that's my little brother. I love him to death. Man saved my life, but love him to death. And he'll always be that boy who sniffed my underarms. Like this little boy, every time I came around, we got the same daddy, so we didn't grow up in the same household. But every time I went to go visit, he seen me, his eyes just lit up. And I'm talking about even when he was a teenager, his eyes would light up and he'd turn into like a little baby, hug me and stick his face right in my armpit. I don't know why he weird like that, but the crazy thing, my son and my daughter do that. I must got pheromones or something coming out my armpit. But anyway, um, even to this day, when he see me, he light up. He like a little kid. He run and hug me. He bigger than me now, like 2 inches taller than me. So I only ever wanted the best for him, you know. But I can't force him. So the only thing I can do is hope. But I got more than hope this time. I can hear it in his voice. It's different. I can feel it. And I'm gonna be there to support him. Whatever you need, I'm gonna be there. That's my baby bro. And he he didn't he ain't did nothing worse than I did. He just got caught and I didn't. That's the only difference between me and him. He got caught and I didn't. That's the biggest difference between me and him. I was just I had a better guidance. I had better overseers too. But that's why I don't blame people for their backgrounds or their past. I keep hitting. I guess the space bar button on my computer knocks me out for the thing. But always give people room to grow, room to evolve, room to change because I did. And I know how hard it is. It's not just like you just stop doing something or you stop being a certain way. That it just don't work like that. You know? Especially when you had to do something for so long just to survive, just to get that, uh, to turn the switch off survival mode and switch it to live mode is not easy. Because, like I said in another video, there's a couple times I backslid. I was a hustler. So if I needed money, I knew how to go get it. And when I tried to straighten up my life, I understood I can't do that no more. I can't have one foot over here and one foot over here. I had to completely commit to a side. What am I gonna do? Am I gonna be this or am I gonna be that? And when times get hard, what do we usually do? Go back to what's comfortable. Go back to what we know. So a couple times I did that. So that's why I always give people room to grow. Give people the opportunity to change. And when I start seeing improvements, I encourage people. We got to do that. We got to do that more often. We got to encourage one another. We got to start patting each other on the back. It ain't no participation trophy. It's just showing recognition. Like, hey, bro, I see you. Good shit. Like, why we can't do that? We see somebody making positive. That's motivation. Especially when you know someone is trying to change. Why talk about somebody's past if they're not currently doing it? It's like you trying to make somebody feel guilty for something they did in the past. Maybe they learned their lesson. Maybe they moving forward, but you want to throw it up. That's like if I ain't did something in 6, 7 years, pretty sure that somebody changed. If somebody didn't do something in 2 years, that's a change. They're making progress. They're moving forward. They're doing something different now. Let's be honest. If somebody ain't do something in a month, that's progress. So why not pat them people on the back? And maybe that'll motivate them to keep going. See, this is what I'm saying. I was blessed. I was blessed to have great people around me. I was. And even though a lot of times I didn't think I made the necessary changes, people kept telling me, like, bro, I'm proud of you. You ain't doing this no more. You ain't doing that no more. You got your head on straight. You doing this now. You doing. And that motivated me to keep doing it and to go further. That's why I said everybody ain't got that though. You can have somebody who completely changed their life. 10 years ago past. Somebody want to bring up what happened in the past and judge them today on it. How does that even make sense? If they're not doing it, I can understand 100%. If somebody's still doing the same thing, then call it what it is. You're showing a habit. You're showing you got a timeline of doing it. You ain't changed. But if a person ain't did it in a period of time, then that shows progression. At some point, like I said, not only loving ourselves, we got to start loving one another. Just showing love. Ain't nothing wrong with that. It makes me feel good. I don't know, maybe I'm just weird, but it makes me feel good to show people love, to support people. Even if it's only with a view and a like, it still make me feel good. But we gotta I'm not even gonna keep saying we gotta do better, because a lot of us are doing better. A lot of us are. And it's been proven. I mean, just the circle I'm in now on YouTube, I see a lot of us are doing better. We supporting one another. We come in each other's chats. We watch each other videos. That's support. That's a lot more than what a lot of people doing. So a lot of us are doing better. A lot of us are putting that effort in for change. So I'm gonna start speaking like that. I'm speaking that into existence. You know, whoever don't, oh well, fuck them. Fuck them. If people don't want to get on the boat, then we'll catch y'all later. That's to the point. That's where I'm at now. If people don't want to get on the boat, catch you later. That's fine. If we build it, they come. But if ain't nobody gonna come up, I'm gonna go ahead and end this live. I'm gonna try to get in the bed before 2. I'm gonna go listen to Perp, read some stories. But I appreciate y'all coming through, rocking with me. Do me a favor though, if you ain't hit the like button, hit the like for me. And if you new, hit the subscribe. And if I say anything that resonated with you, do me a favor. Share it. Help you spread the word. Well, that's all I got. Y'all have a good one.